I'd like to give a little shout out in this video to Mother Nature. Yes, we're up here in Portland, and just a few days ago, the entire western half of Oregon was in the middle of a 3-day streak of unrelenting sun and 100-degree heat. And my brother and I drove up here yesterday, and it's been semi-overcast. Yesterday it got up to maybe 80 degrees. Today it's only supposed to get up to like 60 or 68, 70 or something like that. So yes, I don't know what we did to get this weather timed so perfectly for our trip up to Portland, but yay, Mother Nature. Greetings, one and all, and welcome to Tom's Hit Parade. By the way, I invite you to hit that subscribe button, give me a thumbs up if you like what you see, share this video with your friends, and leave me your thoughts down in the comment section. Bada beep, bada bop, bada boom. So anyway, I am back as of Saturday afternoon. I am back from a 2-day trip up to Portland, Oregon. My first trip up there in 15 months. That's kind of the nice thing about being able to document these trips on my YouTube channel is I can remember how long it's been since the last one. Little index dividers here. There's one that sits right by my shoulder and pokes me in the shoulder when I'm trying to do a video, so I'll put it over here and set it out of the way. Anyway, so yes, first trip to Portland in 15 months, spent 2 days up there, went up Thursday morning bright and early so that we got there. It's about a 2-hour drive, so we time it so that we get there right about 10 o'clock when most everything opens, so we don't have to waste any time. And then we came home Saturday morning. So yes, had lots of fun. 2 days is just about the right amount of time. And as I mentioned in my cold open, sorry about the wind noise. I didn't realize there was going to be wind noise in there. Yet we lucked out big time with regard to the weather. Most of the previous week leading up to the trip, the highs were between the low 90s and low 100s for like 5 days. So yes, dealing with oppressive heat and unrelenting sunshine. I am a mess today. I busted my fingernail. I don't know if you can see it because of the light, but yeah, cracked my fingernail the other day and it just snagged on my sock. So I'm doing real good today. Anyway, but yes, really oppressive heat for the 5 days leading up to the trip. But Thursday and Friday both. Thursday it got up to maybe 80 degrees, maybe a little bit above the ideal temperature for when you're walking around shopping and stuff. But after floating around the century mark for 5 days, I wasn't about to complain about the weather. But yes, partly cloudy Thursday with highs in right around 80. Friday it was overcast almost all day long, and the highs were like 68, maybe 70. So I could not have asked or could not have hoped for better weather for the 2 days that we were up there. And on top of that, I think I may have had the most successful trip I've ever had to Portland in terms of finding stuff and coming home with stuff that I was actually looking for in terms of CDs. And my vlogging game this time, I was going up there with the intention of really upping my vlogging game. I've done better, I think, with this video than I did with the last couple of videos, but I do have an excuse. For the 3 nights leading up to this trip, I slept maybe 2 to 3 hours each of those 3 nights. I don't know what was going on. I don't know if it was the heat. It takes time, of course, at night for the heat to dissipate and fly out the windows. And to be cool enough to really sleep comfortably, or if I was just excited about the trip. I wasn't consciously antsy about the trip. Maybe I was subconsciously. Who knows? Anyway, but so yeah, I think I did okay with the vlogging game. As you saw, I took some on the road footage, and I took some footage, as you will see coming up, with going into the stores and filming the stores around, filming the inside of the stores. And I also, one thing I had in mind before I even left for the trip, I wanted my thumbnail to be what you saw, to be me standing in front of the signs of all 4 stores, and I was going to do a 4-frame thumbnail. So that I accomplished. That was a goal that I accomplished. But anyway, yes, had a whole bunch of fun, and of course I will show you the booty that I came home with here in just a few minutes here. But yeah, on the first day, and this is kind of interesting, I realized that on the first day I went to the two stores that I went to had the word records in their names, and on Friday the two stores that I went to had the word music in their names. Total coincidence, but it's a fun little trivia note. But yes, on the first day of my trip up there, Thursday, I went to one store that I had never been to before, and another store that I hadn't been to in close to 15 years, at least 10 years. And but then Friday I went to my two standbys, my two every time I go up to Portland stores, Music Millennium and Everyday Music. So yes, I thought I would show you what I got, and show you my haul, uh, as arranged by the stores I went to, rather than the whole thing at the end, sorted by genre. I just thought it would be a little more fun to do it this way. Plus, I would be able to show you the footage that I shot and all that stuff. Um, I did get two things that were not CDs. I did go to Powell's, stopped briefly at both of the two Powell's stores. At one of them, I picked up some books for my mother. She's way into a particular author right now, so I was able to find 5 books of hers that I was able to get from my mom. She is a voracious reader, and so was my sister. It's like as soon as they finished one book, they were starting another one. So unfortunately, I did not inherit that gene. I've kind of wanted to read. I can never get myself into the habit of reading. The closest I can come to is the coffee table browsy, at least half pictures books like this one I'm about to show you. And this one, I hesitated buying it because I was standing there thinking, I've got this book already, don't I? Well, no, maybe I don't. Well, no, yeah, maybe I think I do. Well, no, maybe I don't. So I took the chance, bought it. It was only $30, but it was brand new, sealed in plastic. And well, the $30 price tag will be impressive when I show you what it is. Here it is, 50 Years of Rolling Stone, as I bang my glasses against it. This big coffee table sized book commemorating the first 50 years of Rolling Stone magazine. I'm sure it's going to be great to look at. And did I mention when I came home, I realized I was correct. I did not own this book previously. I'm thinking maybe I came close to buying it before. Something tells me I saw it, and it may have been at a Powell's, unsealed. It was used, actually used. And I think maybe this band may have been torn. Maybe that's why I almost got it but didn't, and maybe that's why I had doubts as to whether or not I owned it. But anyway, I am really looking forward to looking at this. Obviously, I was a Rolling Stone subscriber for a good number of years. They're not the magazine that they used to be, unfortunately, so I haven't been a subscriber for 6 years ish. My sister was a subscriber for the last probably 35 years of her life, being that she loved music. So yeah, very nice, very looking forward to reading this book. Ooh, plop it over there away from where I will be stacking the CDs. And also, jumping forward a little bit, at Music Millennium, I also got a T-shirt. It's one of their newest design T-shirt. I like it. I really enjoy this one. Very cool. So yes, I could not leave the store without this T-shirt. I've got 1 or 2 other Music Millennium T-shirts, so this will be added to the collection. So yeah, was very happy to get that. Let me take a quick drink here. There were 2 objectives I was looking for. I was after when shopping this time. One of those was my first stop at nearly every store was the soundtrack section, if they had one, and Variety Records didn't really have one. But still, I found a couple good soundtracks. And another thing I was looking for was I wanted to get a jump on uh, collecting candidate albums for my 2026 cycle of backtracks. So yes, I was after some. I had a list of 1956 and 1966 albums I was going to look for, and I found quite a number of them. Some of them I will show you. Some of them, yeah, I'm showing you 85 to 90% of the stuff I got. There's some stuff that's just kind of, I just wanted to limit myself to not make this video really long. So I'm showing you about 14 CDs from each stop that I made. So yeah, and there's probably 10 to 12 more CDs beyond what I'm going to show you that I got. So I probably got 75 CDs. So it wasn't a very budget-friendly trip, but then I kind of made up for that with my thrift store haul a couple weeks ago. So anyway, let's go ahead and get started with the vlog and haul feature of this video. First store I went to is at the northwest end of a northwest-southeast corridor on the east side of Portland called Foster Road. And this place is called Variety Records. And I'd never been in there before. They've been there for about 21 years, apparently. And you will see in this clip that I shot, the place is absolutely jam-packed with inventory. It's a store you need to be ready to browse in. I can't speak to how well organized the records are, but the CDs, there's this flat table-like structure in the middle of the front section of the store where the CDs are, face down, spine up, or yeah, spine up, and the racks are kind of, level with the floor. And those CDs are pretty much sorted alphabetically by first letter of the alphabet. All the A's are together, all the B's are together, etc. Other than that, there are dozens of cardboard boxes of CDs. Most of the stacks of boxes are chest high, and those are not sorted. So it's not recommended as a store to go into when you are looking for a specific thing and when you don't have a whole lot of time. Be ready to browse for at least an hour and a half, 2 hours. I spent 2 hours in there browsing just the CDs, and it took that long to browse just the CDs. But yeah, it's a very welcoming atmosphere. It's run by just two guys. It's a two-man operation, and the one guy that was there, very, very friendly. He was very welcoming, which is kind of what you hope for when you go into a store, right? And yeah, he's got a little bit of a weird personality, but then don't we all? Hey, if you think you're not weird, you're probably more weird than you realize, more weird than most people. But anyway, but he had a good vibe to him, a good aura about him, I guess you'd say, to use a tree hugger hippie word, aura. Uh, but yes, fun guy to chat with. I just stood there chatting with him for 20 minutes before I even started looking at the CDs. Well, 10, 15 minutes. Yeah, really nice guy. Great store. And as you will see here, I came out with a handful of stuff. A couple of soundtracks. I got Along Came a Spider by Jerry Goldsmith. I've found a few Jerry Goldsmith CDs this time around. I wanted to kind of beef up my Goldsmith discography just a little bit. So, yeah, good stuff. And we have Starship Troopers. This is apparently, I've never seen the movie. I've actually never seen Along Came a Spider either. Starship Troopers, I've heard, is rather a Raspberry Award-winning movie. Not very good. But sometimes lousy movies still have good scores. And Basil Poledouris scored Starship Troopers. He also scored RoboCop, which is one of my favorite sci-fi soundtracks. So I decided to definitely get this one. And also because it is a Varese Sarabande release. As I've mentioned before, I have a very strong sentimental attachment to this solid maroon spine with the white all caps serif font there that you see. The spine from Varese Sarabande's golden age. So yes, very happy to pick up those soundtracks. And I found quite a bit of other stuff as well. I've had a few Ray Charles compilations in recent years. They've all been one disc compilations, but I finally found what looked like a really, really nice 2-disc compilation. So I went ahead and grabbed it. The Ultimate Hits Collection. And as you can see, it's got 2 discs, about 17 tracks each. Actually, I guess I don't have to worry about the glare on this one because it's cardboard. But yes, a nice selection of songs here. I've been wanting a comprehensive Ray Charles collection. I've also been looking for a comprehensive Ella Fitzgerald collection, and I can only seem to find one disc sets. Like career spanning retrospectives. But yes, this was well worth the $10 that he charged for this. Yeah, prices were pretty reasonable, not especially wonderful, although I bought enough that the guy actually gave me a little break on some of the CDs. Some of the ones that were above $5, he actually knocked down to $5 each. So don't expect that he'll do that for you. You have to buy a lot, but still, yeah. Another reason that I was very happy to shop at that store and if next time I go up to Portland, I will try to make an effort to go back in there again. And then we have one of a few 20th Century Masters Millennium Collection best of CDs that I found on this trip. Gato Barbieri. I've been wanting to check out Gato Barbieri for a while now, and so I figured what better place to start than in a series of best ofs that I already have several volumes of. So yeah, I give him a shot. And we have another Varese Sarabande CD, but it does not follow the red spine scheme. Music, 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 the best of Teresa Brewer, a pop singer from the 50s and 60s. The title track, Put Another Nickel in the Jukebox. Put Another Nickel in the Nickelodeon. All I ever want to hear is music, music, music. I think that those are the lyrics, sort of. Listen to the song Music, Music, Music by Teresa Brewer. It's fun. I like it. Anyway, yes, a nice little collection of her stuff. Yes, Varese Sarabande is primarily a soundtrack label, but they have delved into classic pop and stuff like that. So yeah, there you go. Then here is one of the one of the 1956 albums that you may or may not see in my 1956 backtracks at the beginning of next year. Calypso by Harry Belafonte, great, nice little album of his. And of course, it has the Banana Boat Song, his big hit, as well as Jamaica Farewell, and the Jackass Song. I could make a joke about who that would apply to, but let's not get into that in this video. Anyway, yes, Harry Belafonte. One of my mother's favorite artists is Harry Belafonte, and I can see why. He's a good artist. He was able to, one of the first jazz and easy listening artists that mixed a lot of world music into his stuff. So, and then here's another installment in a best of series that I have several volumes of, the Playlist series from the Sony family of labels. Jim Brickman. I've had one or two albums of his, and he's just not the artist that I'm really compelled to hang on to studio albums of. But this looked like a very, very nice compilation. Got several guest artists. Jim Brickman is a pianist, by the way. But yeah, he's got Martina McBride, Colin Ray, Jordan Hill, and Billy Porter on here. Jane Krakowski, Michael Bolton. So yeah, a pretty star-studded compilation of his. So yes, that was definitely one that I wanted to pick up. And another one, I've actually got 3 in a row here from Greatest Hits series that I have other installments from. I hope you understand what I mean. But in this case, the Capital Collector series, I've got several of these. I've got the Nat King Cole, I've got the Stan Freberg, Kingston Trio, a whole bunch of others, and I found the Sammy Davis Jr. installment. So, and he's another one that I've had best ofs from before. And, but yeah, I figured I'd add to the collection of Capital Collector series, and it's kind of the same scheme that all the spines on the Capital Collector series do, that design scheme. So, and then here's another one. This one you might remember in, I think it was my last haul video, just a couple of my thrift store haul a couple weeks ago. I got a Greatest Hits CD by this guy, but it only had 10 songs on it, and this one has 21 songs, and it is part of a series that I have other installments of. In this case, the Definitive Collection, and we're talking about Billy Ray Cyrus. So yes, I've got the Bing Crosby, Buddy Holly, and a few others of that thing. So yeah, I was definitely happy to pick this one up. Kind of been wanting, I've got 4 Miley Cyrus CDs, so I've kind of been wanting a good Billy Ray Cyrus compilation to kind of just put into my collection. So yeah, good stuff. Then we have, and this is another series that I've got a few installments of, not very many, but the 16 most requested songs thing. I've got Liberace and a couple others, and now I've got Pearl Bailey. Yes, I've got an old album of hers, classic album on LP that was in my brother-in-law's and sister's collection. Lots of fun. That was lots of fun to listen to. So hopefully this compilation will be just as much fun to listen to. She had so much spunk and personality and fire in her songs. I just loved listening to that album. So hopefully this one will be just as enjoyable. Then 4 more CDs I'm going to show you from Variety Records. This one, last I looked, which was a couple of years ago, it was fetching a fairly decent amount on Discogs and whatnot used, and this one was still sealed, so I decided to pick it up. And I also enjoy the artist, maybe both artists, I can't remember. But anyway, Under the Covers Volume 1 by Matthew Sweet and Susanna Hoffs. Susanna Hoffs is with the Bangles, isn't she? I think so. In which case, I like both artists. Loved the Bangles for a long, long time, and I've been fond of Matthew Sweet stuff for a little while. So, yeah, a collection of cover songs, obviously. And they made 3 or 4 volumes of this. And I think the further on you go in the series, the more rare they are. So, yes, I was happy to pick up Volume 1, still sealed. So. And continuing my collection of Phil Collins solo material, and this is actually the one that I probably least expected to find in the stores up there. Going back, this is the covers album that he put out. I think this was his most recent solo album to date. But yeah, a bunch of cover songs, and looking forward to. I actually haven't listened to any of this stuff yet, so looking forward to hearing his take on those songs. So. And the final 2 CDs that I got from Variety Records are continuing to build my Steve Winwood solo discography. We've got Refugees of the Heart here. I've got 2 CDs of his, or until now, I had 2 CDs of his, so now I've got at least 4. So that one up. And Roll With It. So, and yes, I thought there were more hits on here than the title track. Yeah, maybe there are, and I just don't remember them by their titles. I can't remember. But anyway, yes, very happy to pick these 2 up. Yeah, it was finding his Arc of a Diver album for like $1 or $2.50 or something in the bargain bin. Kind of got me on the roll of picking up accumulating Steve Winwood's solo CDs. So yeah, good stuff. While I reorganize CDs here, I don't want stuff to pile up and then fall over onto the floor. Now, the second store I went into on Thursday, excuse me, is called Crossroads Records. And actually, is it Crossroads Music or Crossroads Records? I think it is Crossroads Records. It's Crossroads something. Anyway, this is an interesting store. They've got the vinyl. It's primarily vinyl, obviously. Is divided into a bunch of different sections, and it's kind of like a, what do you call it, a co-op or a consignment store where several different vendors have their stuff for sale, and it's sold through the store, obviously, and of course the store divvies out the profits to the people who sold the record, who originally had the records, And I'm not sure if they do their CDs in that way, because the CDs are just all in one section, so they might just buy, get their CDs just directly and from through the store itself, whereas the records are done, you know through vendors. You know what I'm talking about. I'm not going to go on and explain it, but anyway, was not into looking at the records on this trip. I usually am not, just because they're a little harder to transport home and that kind of thing. So yes, it was all about the CDs on this trip, and I found a handful of good soundtracks as well, and a few other things. Leading off the thing was one of the best finds, I think, on this trip. The original 2-disc Chubby Case edition of Star Wars, the original soundtrack from the first Star Wars film. Yes, I've got the same content on a remastered CD, but I couldn't resist. The discs were in really good condition, and it was sitting right there in front of me. So I'm kind of a sucker for buying, just picking it up on impulse and buying them. So yeah, very nice to have this one. And it kind of goes along with the theme of, in just my last thrift store haul, I found, you'll recall, the original issue of the Raiders of the Lost Ark soundtrack on CD. And I already had 2 versions of that, two different versions of that on CD. So apparently I'm collecting previous versions of John Williams CDs now. Uh-oh. Anyway, and speaking of Star Wars, why not come home with another recording of the Star Wars music? This one is by Charles Gerhardt, conducting the National Philharmonic Orchestra, music from Star Wars and Close Encounters, both by John Williams. And this is one of the most critically acclaimed re-recordings of the Star Wars music, of John Williams music in general. So it was nice to find this one there. And yes, Gerhardt and the National Philharmonic actually did re-recordings of both The Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi as well. And so I'm hoping to, at some point, I will collect all three of those. So I'm a third of the way there now. So, and yeah, found a couple of classic soundtracks as well. We've got In Like Flint and Our Man Flint. It's a double-decker soundtrack CD, the original soundtracks from both movies on one disc, composed by Jerry Goldsmith. So yeah, building up my Jerry Goldsmith collection. And this is the Varese Sarabande, the current spine scheme for Varese Sarabande. Still got the maroon on the top of the spine with their logo, but the rest of it is white, as you can see there. I'm sure you're finding that very fascinating. Anyway, I'm a geek about that stuff. What can I say? So yes, yeah, both soundtracks from the two Flint movies on one CD. I was pretty interested to pick that one up. Not only do I like Jerry Goldsmith, but I'm kind of wanting to, broaden my soundtrack listening into more classic stuff from before I was born. I'm not sure if those movies were from before I was born, but anyway, this one was before I was born, quite a while before I was born. Peter Gunn. And yes, I do have both installments of the Peter Gunn music soundtracks on vinyl, but this one was right there on CD, and it's the first album plus a bunch of bonus tracks. And those of you who are John Williams aficionados already know that John Williams actually played piano on these recordings. So that's one reason why it's kind of I'm attached to it. And also, trivia note, the music from Peter Gunn won the first Grammy Award for Album of the Year, the first year that award was instituted. So another little trivia note for you. So yeah, very happy to pick that one up. And then we have Blade Runner, the soundtrack by Vangelis. Yes, I picked up Chariots of Fire, I think, in my thrift haul a couple weeks ago, and so kind of decided to pick up his other really major score that I don't know why I didn't have in my collection until now. So, and then this one was a little expensive. It was $10, but then I know that it is a little bit hard to find out there, and so I was willing to pay a little bit more for it. Plus, it is an Alan Silvestri soundtrack, and I've become a bit of a fan of Silvestri as well. This is a score from Predator 2, and again, it is on Varese Sarabande. And yes, I have not seen either of the Predator movies, and I don't yet have the soundtrack from the first Predator film. But here, I go ahead and pick this one up and get started on that little segment of my collection. So, and yes, between his Back to the Future trilogy and Night at the Museum trilogy, I've become a pretty solid fan of Alan Silvestri's work. Who Framed Roger Rabbit was good on that one. And then this one, I already had a version of his greatest hits, but it was not nearly as extensive as this one. We're talking Johnny Ray, classic pop singer, kind of a progenitor of rock and roll back in the 50s. So yes, the one that I had up till now was 16 tracks, and this one is 24 tracks. And this is actually an issue, a British release. So some of the songs are going to be a little different. Some of the songs that are on the 16 track version are not on this 24 track version. So, but all the major hits are on here. So yes, he was actually grew up in Oregon. One thing I did not know until watching a recent documentary about him. So yeah. And we have another candidate for my I believe this is going to be 1966 backtracks. Oh yeah, LP originally released May 1966. Strangers in the Night by Frank Sinatra. A classic album by a classic crooner. Couldn't pass it up, and so we will see how it stacks up against the multiple other albums from 1966. We will see that soon. And then a couple of greatest hits from the Rhino label. The Best of Julie Andrews. Yes, could not resist. I love her voice. I'm not sure if she released any pop records, but because most, if not all, of the stuff on this CD is from her the musical films she was in, Camelot, My Fair Lady, Mary Poppins, The Sound of Music, etc. But yes, very happy to have a collection of her songs on CD. I've got her holiday album, and now I've got this one. So, and my sister and my mother both loved Julie Andrews very, very much. And then another one I've wanted to give this guy a shot for quite a while, George Jones. This is the best of George Jones, 1955 to 1967. So yes, his song "Why Baby Why" is one that I've always kind of had a fondness for. So decided to give him another bit of listening here. So yeah, looked like a decent collection to pick up. And then I only got one CD. They did have at Crossroads, they do have a section of bargain CDs, most of them for $1. And I only found one that was really of interest to me, though. John Hyatt, and this is another installment in the 20th Century Masters. Never really checked out John Hyatt stuff, so I thought I would give him a try. And for $1, what have you got to lose, right? So, but the coup de grace from Crossroads is I've been wanting to pick up this guy's full catalog, essentially, um, for a while now. But when he passed away recently, and I read a little obituary of him, I didn't realize until then, or maybe I knew but just didn't remember, that he'd only put out 2 studio albums and 2 live albums. There is a compilation which I actually already have from stuff that he did for a British TV show. I've already got that one, but aside from that one, I now own his full discography, and I was able to get it in one shot at Crossroads Music. So it's like, why not? I do have a compilation of his, which is pretty extensive, and it's got a concert DVD on it. So I may still keep that one, but for now, I will beef up my collection with the full discography, essentially, of Tom Lehrer. So yes, songs and more songs. This is actually a compilation of both of his studio albums put together on one CD. There's first album, second album, and he's got some bonus tracks on here as well. So it was nice to pick that one up. And then his 2 concert albums, Tom Lehrer Revisited. There's that one. And yes, the concert albums basically have the same songs that are on his studio albums, but I'm sure it's going to be fun to hear the songs in 2 different contexts with no audience reaction and with, the laughter and the applause and stuff. And then we have An Evening Wasted with Tom Lehrer. So yeah, I was absolutely overjoyed to find all of these Tom Lehrer CDs, and they did have a few copies of That Was the Year That Was, which is the one I already have. So they did have in stock the full Tom Lehrer discography. So not counting that greatest hits compilation that I have. So, but yeah, absolutely, positively overjoyed to have found Tom Lehrer's stuff there at Crossroads Music. Drink break. Hydration break. This is just iced tea. It's not like bourbon or whatever. Anyway, so yes, that was day 1. Had lunch at a nice little interesting a place that I'd never been to before because I hadn't been to that side of town in a long time. A little breakfast, brunch, lunch place called the Midpoint. Nice little. I had a turkey mushroom melt. It was very, very nice on house-made bread, wheat bread. So very, very nice sandwich. So nice little place to go into if you ever want to, if you're ever in that neighborhood. Look for the Midpoint. It's off on a little side street. Nice, quiet little place. So good food. Anyway, on to the second day in Portland, which was Friday. First stop, as it usually is Music Millennium. Had to go in there. That's a trip to Portland is not a trip to Portland for me without going to Music Millennium. It is my favorite music store in Portland by far, by a long stretch, and it's just fun to go inside. I love it as much for the atmosphere as for its inventory. As you will see in the video that I'm showing you here, it's like one room leads into another room, leads into another room. It's almost like a maze, sort of. And they have a mezzanine that's got vinyl on it as well. But yes, new CDs, pop rock and R&B and stuff in one room. Used CDs in the second room. You go into the third room is, and also country in the second room, country CDs. And the third one is soul, R&B, and hip hop. Okay, I may have that wrong because I think they moved around a couple of sections. So in the jazz and classical primarily is in the third room, both new and used, and then you go down into the fourth room, and that's where the vinyl starts. And then in the vinyl room, there's actually kind of going toward the back. There's another separate room back there that's got more vinyl in it. So you can kind of tell what I mean by saying when I say that it's kind of like a maze. So, but it's a very fun maze. It's a music maze. Music mazes are fun mazes. Anyway, and yes, I found a whole bunch of stuff here at Music Millennium as well. Getting started with the soundtracks, starting with another classic soundtrack. I decided to give it a try. The Great Escape, music by Elmer Bernstein. And yes, Elmer Bernstein is known to me as the composer of Ghostbusters, the first Ghostbusters film. He did the score for that one. But yes, and I think I have at least one more Elmer Bernstein score, but it's from a more recent movie as well. But yes, this was from the 1960s, I believe, 63. So yeah, definitely give that one a good shot. And then picked up a couple CDs to add to my Danny Elfman collection. This first one is Tulip Fever. I had never heard of this movie, and I don't know if it was a direct-to-streaming film or if it actually was in the theaters. I don't recall ever seeing ads for it on TV or anything, but it looked interesting, so yeah, I thought I'd give it a shot. And it's definitely, obviously, Elfman is known for more well known for the action stuff that he did. The Batman, Spider-Man, the Tim Burton movies, etc. So this is probably this certainly looks like one of the more understated drama films that he scored. So I was definitely happy to check that one out. And then the other Danny Elfman score that I found was for Epic. Yes, obviously one of those animated films. This one I'm sure is going to be a lot of fun to listen to. I have actually never seen the movie, so I guess I need to see the movie now too. But yeah, figured good choices to add to my Elfman collection. And I found a few more Jerry Goldsmith CDs. We've got City Hall, and they did have the deluxe edition of City Hall expanded re-release from Sarabond, but they wanted like $18 for it, and this one was just $5. So, and it was not a CD that I was, a soundtrack that I was really clamoring to have the expanded edition of. So, save a few bucks here and there. And then Dennis the Menace. What the heck, right? This ought to be a fun score to listen to, I'm sure. And I never have seen the film. I suppose I ought to see the film as well. And then the last Goldsmith score, at least in this lot, no, I think it is the last one I picked up this time, was for Congo. An old friend of mine, this was one of his favorite movies. And so I decided I have not seen the movie still. I don't know if there are there are one or two soundtracks in this whole lot that I have seen the movies from. 90% of them I haven't. So, but anyway, yeah, figured I'd pick up this CD just partly because that old friend of mine loved the movie so much. Suppose I ought to see it at some point eventually. And then I added a whopping 4 CDs to my James Horner library. As you know, Horner is my second favorite composer of all time, and it's been taking me a while. I don't know why it's taken me this long to really start diving in. Well, probably because now that I'm essentially finished building my John Williams library, I can move on to James Horner. Anyway, Searching for Bobby Fischer. It's a drama about a chess prodigy, I think. That was nice to have. And then the Spitfire Grill. This one looked kind of interesting. I kind of want to see this movie just because it looks like it might be interesting. So yeah. And then continuing with James Horner, Enemy at the Gates. There we go. I think I had bought this one somewhere before, or I'd almost bought it, but the CD was in really bad shape. But this one is very, very nice condition. And then Courage Under Fire. And this looks like a political / courtroom drama, maybe. And oh, the track listing isn't on the back. First time I noticed that. So anyway, yeah, nice little augmentation of my James Horner library. And then I did, of course, pick up a couple of pop rock, etc. albums as well. I didn't just buy soundtracks at Music Millennium. This one I'd had before, got rid of it because I just wasn't interested in it. And then about a year or so ago, I hear a song of theirs, or I hear a song in a TV commercial that I really enjoyed, that I really like the sound of. Come to realize it is by this group and it's on this album. I think it was called Move Your Feet. Anyway, Junior Senior is the name of the group. This is their first album, Don't Stop the Beat. And there's the, or, there we go. And that was not a stutter. The name of the album actually is, you can see here, Don't Stop the Beat. So I feel an obligation to give the albums the correct names as often as I can on my channel. So yes, was happy to see that. I kind of had that on my list for a while. And then, yes, I picked him up. Was it in a haul, a thrift store haul, I think, recently? MC Hammer's sophomore album, Too Legit to Quit. So I had to pick up Please Hammer, Don't Hurt Him. Yes. And this is as far as I will be going in my MC Hammer discography, because these two albums have all the songs that I really care about. So yeah, couldn't resist. And then the last two CDs are, one of them is actually a 1966 Backtracks candidate. So I was happy to pick it up. And I had to decide, kind of waffled back and forth between, those 5 CD slipcase box sets there where the CDs are just in little sleeves, 5 classic albums, I think it's called. Well, they had one by the Monkees, their first 5 albums, but the first 2 or 3 albums are the only ones that I really cared about. Ones after that, the further along, at least for me, the further along you get in the albums, the fewer songs you care about. But then I found that they had these guys' first 2 albums, $6 a piece, and that 5 CD box set thing was $19.99. So I figured I'd save myself a little money, and yeah. So anyway, the Monkees. This is their debut album, self-titled, and the remastered edition with bonus tracks, which is also the versions I think that are in that 5 CD slipcase thing. So yes, happy to have that one, as well as more of the Monkees. Decided to pick that one up as well. So yeah, I figured I can always continue my Monkees collection as I desire or require them. Plus, I'm just a little more fond of the jewel case than slipcases. As space-saving as they are, the little sleeves and slipcases, that's a very nice thing about them, but still, sentimental attachment to the jewel cases. Yes, I almost bought the the next stop I went into, I might as well talk while I'm putting CDs back. The final stop in terms of CD stores was Everyday Music downtown. Sorry. Yes, another, again, one of my regular stops. Love the place. Frankly, it's not what it used to be. The staff just seems to be a little less welcoming lately anymore. And I mean, the selection is still pretty good. Prices are okay. They're competitive with the other stores. But yeah, I don't know. It's just, in terms of the friendliness of the staff, that one seems to be the lowest ranked of the stores that I've visited this time. And yeah, the last couple of visits, it's almost been like I've been interrupting them when I come up to buy something. So, plus, I've had a couple of 1 or 2 CDs on this trip and 1 on the last trip. They used to, and maybe they still do. They would have green stickers with the word "scuff" on them to denote CDs that have some scratches or some blemishes on them. They don't seem to do that anymore, because I bought a CD that had a regular yellow price tag, spent $7 on it, and the disc was in horrible condition. So, but I didn't realize that until I was already on my way home, so or had already come home. So it's not worth driving two hours each way to return a $7 CD. So yeah, Everyday Music is not what it used to be, and I'm sad to see that happen. So yes, their quality control is a little sliding a little bit, and their customer service, their congeniality is leaves a little something to be desired anymore. But I picked up some good stuff there. One thing, and take a drink here. Ever since I picked up that sumptuous 7-disc box set of John Williams' expanded scores for the first 3 Harry Potter films. I've kind of had this bug in the back of my head. Well, why not pick up the soundtracks from the other 5 movies? And so I've kind of been thinking about that here and there. And when I was at Everyday Music, they just happened to have the soundtracks from all 5 of the movies. I think they might have actually had the other 3 as well. They were right there, $7 each. So the prices, but I decided too much to resist when they're right there in front of me. So I decided to go ahead and pick them up. So yes, now I have a complete collection of the Harry Potter soundtracks, starting with The Goblet of Fire, which is by Patrick Doyle. Yes, happy to pick that one up. And then The Order of the Phoenix by Nicholas Hooper. I thought that Patrick Doyle had scored more than one Harry Potter movie, but apparently not. So here's that one. And then we have The Half-Blood Prince, also scored by Nicholas Hooper. And yes, the good thing about these is I bought them all secondhand, so who doesn't get a penny of my money. And then, of course, the 2-part finale film, The Deathly Hallows. Here's part 1, scored by Alexandre Desplat. And part 2 by Alexandre Desplat. Because I think these are the first Nicholas Hooper and Alexandre Desplat CDs I have in my collection. So I'm not sure if, and it may be the only Patrick Doyle I have. I might have another one. But anyway, it was nice to finally complete my collection of Harry Potter scores. And I found a couple of other soundtracks as well. Planet of the Apes, the remake from 2001. Yeah, 2001. Which I wouldn't have ordinarily gotten, but it was scored by Danny Elfman, so adding another to my Danny Elfman collection. So, yeah. Nice to have that one. And then I picked it up in a not too recent, not too long ago, thrift crawl. I picked up a Best of the Chipmunks CD, but that one only had 10 tracks, and I found this one there the other day at Everyday Music and decided to go ahead and pick it up. Alvin and the Chipmunks' Greatest Hits, still squeaky after all these years. And this one has 26 songs as opposed to the 10 on the other CD. So yes, this was very much worth the upgrade, and much better artwork as well, honestly, gotta say. So yes, can't resist having some Alvin and the Chipmunks in my collection. Then we're moving into jazz. I thought I had all of Tom Grant's albums from the Verve Forecast label, but I didn't. So it was nice to see this one, Take Me to Your Dream. And I think this completes my Verve Forecast segment of Tom Grant's discography. So, yes, an Oregonian jazz artist, by the way. And then another one for my 1956 backtracks, Ella and Louie, Ella Fitzgerald and Louis Armstrong. And I cannot imagine this one not being in my top 10, well inside my top 10 for 1956. So we shall see come January, February-ish. And then, another one for my 1956 candidates, The Boss of the Blues by Joe Turner, Big Joe Turner. Great artist. I've got a compilation of his. He's fantastic. And yes, this was his 1956 album. The original cover art was different than this one is. And they had another one that had the same cover scheme there. And I'm kind of sorry I didn't pick that one up too. But yeah, I figured this one, good enough for now. It's not going to be, at least I hope it's not going to be my last trip up there. So yeah, was happy to pick this one up. Check out Big Joe Turner if you haven't yet. He's kind of a rhythm and blues artist, vocalist, great vocalist, got a deep basso profundo kind of voice. Could have been an opera singer. And yeah, just kind of shake, rattle, and roll, flip, flop, and fly. A couple other great songs he did. So check him out. And then we have another CD, actually a couple of other CDs from artists whose discographies I've been building. The Nylons. This is their album Because. I was about to say Believe. No, Because. And this one was released on the Scotty Brothers label, which was the label that Weird Al Yankovic called home for a while. So yeah, always happy to add another Nylons album to my collection. And then this one also is another one that I'd been wanting. This one I'd actually been wanting for a couple of years, partly because I have their previous 2 albums, but also because this will be a candidate for the 1966 backtracks. So it all kind of worked out. The Hums of the Lovin' Spoonful, their 3rd album, and this is the remastered edition with bonus tracks. So yes, very, very overjoyed to see this one at Everyday Music. And yes, I was going to kind of like the Monkees. They have that 5 CD little box set with the CDs and sleeves. They're five classic albums is what it's called. I almost bought that one, the Monkees. I had the Lovin' Spoonful edition of that on my Amazon shopping list in my cart for a while, but this was the last album of theirs that I really wanted. So yes, it again, it all works out that bought this, was able to save a little money, kind of like I did with the Monkees CDs there. So yes, very happy to pick that one up. And lastly, in my haul today, a couple of albums by The Who. We've got The Who Sell Out. These are I don't know if they're remastered, but they're from 1995. Yeah, 1995 releases of these albums, The Who Sell Out, as well as Who's Next. So yes, I have a 2-disc compilation by The Who. I'm in slowly building my Who discography. We'll probably be able to supersede that with the studio albums. So yes, very happy to pick that one up as well. So how's about that haul? What do you think? Lots of great stuff. And yes, in a way, I'm kind of surprised I didn't come home with more CDs. And yeah, I did, as I said, I did kind of break the bank-ish. I'd had a lot of money saved up, though. So I didn't, it wasn't all, it's not all getting loaded onto my credit card. I actually had some cash that I put in the bank and, just used my debit card to kind of, recirculate the funds. Keep the economy going, and so yes, I did pretty good in terms of the fact that I had actually saved up a lot of the money that I used to buy a lot of this stuff. So yeah, and it kind of counterbalances the thrift store hauls that I go on, where I get lots of music for a pretty darn good bargain basement price. And that's not over, by the way, yet. Next Saturday, KRVM is having their annual media sale again. Although they didn't have one last year, I think they just didn't have enough stuff to justify putting on the sale. So I was happy to wait. Hopefully, this next sale will be just as amazing as the last one. I did a video haul of that last sale, which was the first one I went to, which was back in October of 2023, I think it was. So yes, found a lot of great stuff there. Hopefully, my expectations, my anticipation will be rewarded for this sale as well coming up. And that's probably hopefully going to be the capper of my CD spendathon from the last month or so. Yes, I did 10 thrift stores a couple weeks ago. This week I did a Portland spree, and the next weekend I will be doing the media sale. So if I'm not done for a while browsing CDs by that point, then there's something wrong with me. But anyway, I guess I should stop this video here before I go on for too much longer. Don't want to make this video any more painfully long than it already is. So that'll do it for this video. Be sure to like it if you liked it. And before you go, drop me some feedback in the comment section. I would love to know what you think. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the bell icon to catch my future videos, and hit my username to browse my old videos. Links to my socials and my favorite fellow YouTubers are in the description below. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time, and remember, life's too short to be a music snob.